Hi, this is Mariah Gullo from The Hollywood Reporter, and this is Meet Your Nominee. And I'm here with Oscar-nominated, for a 9th time, Diane Warren.
Hi.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Now, you've been nominated 9 times.
Yeah.
But I don't mean to say that to make you feel pressured about winning.
No pressure at all. It would be nice, But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
It is great to be nominated. It is. I mean, I stayed up all night with my friends, counting down the seconds. And this is it never gets old. And in fact, this was probably the most excited I've literally ever been to get nominated. It's probably the best morning of my life. And it wasn't the first song, and it wasn't the second song, and it wasn't the third song. It was number 4. So I had little heart attacks. For a few minutes.
Well, just to let you know, you beat Peter O'Toole now because he had 8 nominations.
Did he ever win?
He did not win. Oh, no, and
so
Victor Young, composer, had 21 nominations. So
did he ever win?
He did posthumously.
Oh, good news, bad news. He won, but here's the good news: he won. Bad news, he's dead. Okay, so I don't want both of those things. I don't want to happen to me. I don't want it to be 21 times, and I want to be here for it.
I mean, it's really fun. If you go on Wikipedia, there's statistics about, most winning and winning the earliest and the latest, and
right.
I mean, there's so many.
Wow. I've been 30 years now. My first was at the 60th Oscars, and here I am 30 years later at the 90th. With 9.
That's amazing.
90th, 9.
What a stretch. I mean, I feel like that's kind of a lucky thing, though. This is a lucky year.
Oh, that would be nice. That would be nice. I'm hoping. You know, I think it's my most important song. I do.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about "Stand Up for Something," which is in the movie Marshall.
Yeah.
This song is, it's
a call to action.
It is. It's a call to action. We had Common interviewing, and that's exactly what he said.
It really
too.
is, especially in the times we're in. Who knew how timely it would be? It was written for Marshall. It was written to reflect who Thurgood Marshall was. But literally every day, it becomes more relevant, and so many amazing causes are just adopting the song right now. It's just, it's like wow.
I mean, even this week you see high school students speaking out against
they're
gun
standing
violence.
up.
Yeah.
How great is that?
Yeah.
It's the kids again, right?
It's inspiring.
It's like in the 60s. When I wrote this, I was trying to write a song like one of those, protest anthems, the soul kind of protest, like Change is Going to Come. I listened over and over to Change is Going to Come. I go, I want to write the 2000, at the time, it was at the end of 2016. What's that song going to be in this era? There's no songs like that. There's nothing that makes you, I want to write a song that you march to.
Yeah.
You go, I want to change the world with the song. And I just over and over, just listened to those kind of songs. And it's weird because the era, that 60s era, that tumultuous era, is now in where we're at in 2018. You go, wait, what's changed in over 50 years? Well, you know what doesn't change? People. There's a point where people don't take it. It's the kids. Whether it was marching, with anti-Vietnam and against everything else that was going on. It's going to happen again. It's happening again.
Yeah.
And so this song that was almost from that time is even more so for this time.
Does something feel different with your songwriting process? Does it feel different when you have a nominated award-winning song like this?
Well, I haven't won an award yet, so I only know the nominated part, and it's awesome. It's just, it's just like this. But the song is making a difference. It's like the last 2 songs I was nominated for. I feel, with Till It Happens to You, the song I wrote for Gaga from the Hunting Ground.
Right.
That was a song, which I think brought that brought some sexual assault. It helped bring that into the conversation where it wasn't before. Yeah. And that was a song, saying Till It Happens to You, you don't know. When people go, it's going to get better. Well, you know what? Till it happens, it's like there was anger in it and stating a fact. Now you have stand up for something. It's like, okay, we said Till It Happens to You. Now it's like, okay, we're going to change this shit. Now it's stand up for something and change it, because it's going, in fact, Until It Happens to You, there's a line, till you walk where I walk, it's just all talk. And I realized that the line I wrote in Stand Up for Something in the chorus, you can't just talk the talk, you got to walk that walk. It's interesting that they're in both songs.
Yeah.
And it's saying the same thing. It's like, no, you got to you got to stand up. You can't just sit back and talk about it. It feels like people are doing that right now. And it's great, because we're woke. And once you're woke, you don't go back to sleep. So this is the woke national anthem. I hope it becomes that.
Just in the past 2 years, there there are more active marches. There's the Women's March.
Oh, yeah, is that awesome?
There's, I mean, this is becoming a
Me
yearly
Too-
event now.
The Me Too and Time's Up
Yeah.
movement have adopted Stand Up for Something as well.
That's excellent.
So they're one of the, I'm really proud of that.
Do you stay in touch with Lady Gaga?
Yeah, I mean, every now and then, I mean, she's busy. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm busy. She's busy, but she's a lot busier than me. But I stay in touch with her. Yeah.
Do you ever plan on collaborating with her in the future?
Well, we did a song for *Star Is Born*. I still haven't seen the movie, so
excellent.
and I'd like to do more in the future.
Yeah.
She's just so talented.
Yeah.
But I'm so lucky. I get to work with, these great artists. I get to work with
Yeah.
Andra and Common on this.
Yeah, tell me about the collaboration with Andra and Common.
I met Common when he beat me. I was up against him for a song I wrote called "Grateful," which was my 7th nomination. But I knew that one wasn't going to win. I knew that he'd win with Glory, of course, and he did. But we talked about working together, after that a bunch of times, and then finally did. So after I wrote the song, I thought, you know what? How cool would it be to put a rap on there, and what about Common? There's no one else besides Common. If we could add Common, if he could, create this great rap on here and write this, something to lift it. And it's so weird, like literally a week after I thought that, I was on a plane to Sundance, and it was one of the few times I had to pay for my own flight, and usually I don't fly first class if I have to do that. And at the time I thought, I'm just going to, whatever, I'll pay a little extra just to be a little comfortable. And he's writing back at me. And it was like not even a week after I thought of that he'd be the perfect, because those kind of songs from the '60s, rap didn't exist yet. So I thought, like, what if you put that on there and you mashed, decades and genres? So he's sitting back at me, and I told him about the song. I sang him the chorus, and he loved it. And he goes, well, when we land, just get me the song, So I sent him the song, and I got like all these missed calls from him the next day, and he goes, I finally, I don't know, I just didn't see the calls. I called him. I'm like, and he's like, I have to be on the song. I have to be on it. Can I be? I go, you don't have to ask me. I'd be honored. And what he came up with is inspired, And as far as Andra, I thought Andra would be perfect. But I had only read the script when I wrote the song. I hadn't seen the movie yet. So when I saw the movie with the demo in it, I didn't know Andra was in the movie. She plays like a Billie Holiday character.
That's
I'm like,
right.
wow, how crazy is this? Like that, all this meant to be stuff is happening,
Yeah.
It's like, whether it's Common, right after thinking, Common's the perfect person, or wanting Andra, it's like, okay, this is so meant to be.
Yeah.
And this fits with what everybody, we all want, better for the world, all of us. We all stand up for what we stand up for. And if we can inspire, the song can inspire people.
You can't just talk the talk. You got to walk that walk. Yes, you do. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. And I stand up for you.
People feel inspired by this song. What do you recommend they do? Like what's the next step for the call to action?
You can't sit down. You have to go for, it's not just marching, it's voting. It's just voting these people out that make these gun laws or just whatever you can do.
Take it off Twitter. Start with Twitter and then take it off of Twitter.
Exactly.
Start with the hashtag and then walk
it's not just a
down
hashtag,
to the streets.
It's not just a hashtag. It's active. Call to action is active.
So I have a couple of questions for you about Oscar night.
Yeah.
If you could complete these sentences. If Jimmy Kimmel were to crack a joke about me, he would say,
Susan Lucci's back.
That's great. Perfect.
Susan Lucci's back. Maybe because I was hoping at the end he'd go, she's not Susan Lucci anymore.
Hey. And even Susan Lucci is
she won when she's alive.
That's right.
So it wasn't 50 times and she wasn't dead. So it's all good.
That's right. She's a true inspiration. The night wouldn't be complete unless blank happens.
Unless I win.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Can I say
girl.
that?
Allison Janney was the same way. She was like,
she's so cool.
She was like, I don't know if I should say this. And then she was like,
yeah, but it's like, let's be real. And by the way, with Allison's so cool. And I have a parrot named Buttwings. I said she could borrow him for the Oscars, and he'll nip her ear right off. He's a little asshole.
What a great plan.
Yeah, I said if you need a parrot, I got one, and he'll do the same thing that other parrot did, but worse. He will bite your ear off. He won't nibble. He will bite it off. He'll be a great prop.
Yeah. The nominee I'd like to dance with at the after parties is
Common, because it would be a victory dance, hopefully.
Nice. Excellent.
Wishful thinking. Why not be wishful thinking?
So we're just talking about like inspirations, call to action, but is there a movie that really inspired you when you were young?
Oh, there was a bunch. I loved Born Free. You know, that was played into my love of animals. You know, I remember loving that movie and loving that song as well.
And what's been the most surreal thing that has happened since the nominations?
Yeah, the whole thing is surreal. I'm a Valley Jewish girl from Van Nuys, not that far, and this was a million miles away. You know, going over the hill into Hollywood. Like me and my friend were over there, we used to hitchhike here. You know, and to and here's like somebody that just would dream of this, would dream about being on the Oscars, and had no right to even ever think I'd be at the Oscars, much less 9 times. That's beyond surreal. I don't take any of it. I'm not jaded. I don't take any of it for granted. It's a blessing, and it's amazing, and I'm grateful.
Oh. Well, Diane Warren, thank you for letting us hang out at your studio.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on Oscar night.
You will.
Bye.
Bye.